Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday morning. You are correct. I have the market net flow up on the screen. I don't usually start off this way. I generally start off with a bit of information, but let's first go to the net flow because I found it extremely interesting. As we see yesterday, maybe an hour before close, the SPY is sitting right at 412 and like 50 cents. The put premium started spiking. People were entering puts above the zero. What happened end of day? We got that end of day spike I was looking for, but it would tell me be somewhat cautious on market open. Now, when I zoom out, I can still see consolidation in the market, and I can still see that big institutions, and I'll get to the stat about that, are still buying up big tech. So I'll explain what's going on. I'll explain there's a bit of a rotation, I think, that might be a little hindered today. But here we go. News that will affect the market. Home Depot posts worst revenue miss in 20 years. Lowers forecast as consumers delay big projects. Okay, nothing new there. But what the key line is, Home Depot hasn't had a quarter this poor as far as reporting goes in 20 years. So it should tell me that something's there. Yes, I saw you, Flippy. I saw you joined. I was going to reach out to you yesterday, but I didn't want to. I was just busy. Okay, next. Tiger, remember two Chinese companies, Tiger, Tigr, and Futu, Futu, down like 5 to 8%. Why? Because they've got to move their apps and remove their apps from mainland China. Well, that's how mainland China invests in the U.S. market. The two largest brokerage houses are Tiger Brokerage and Futu. So they're probably going to have to move. Interesting. Eurozone, GDP came out. GDP was estimated at 0.2. It came in at 0.1, but it's still positive quarter over quarter, 0.1 up, year over year, 1.3 up. So again, those are more sound numbers coming from Europe, but the European market has been a better safe haven so far for investments. Okay, here we go. Australia down 0.5% overnight. China down 0.6 overnight. Still remains bearish trend. I happen to see China's flipping, and I'll tell you why. Large, big money positions, Michael Blurry, a couple other people, JD, they're in Alibaba, they're in Baidu. I mean, all these stocks have tanked pretty much. We got to understand how big the Chinese economy is. So, I mean, even if we go into a minor recession, China goes into a minor recession, Europe, it's worse. Understand there are some companies that are so beaten up. Japan's stock market up another 0.7% overnight. Again, new cycle highs. So, I mean, obviously the whole world isn't collapsing. Again, Michael Burry doubles Alibaba's stake. He boosted his bullish bet on e-commerce giant JD.com. And the interesting thing, which I didn't hear mention of it, I saw unusual options activity coming across on PDD yesterday, which is another large Chinese company. So that's actually what I'll be looking at. I mean, we've got Alibaba, we've got JD mentioned. I'm actually going to look at the third one. So I've got PDD on my list today. U.S. plans to buy 3 million barrels of oil for emergency reserve. Our emergency reserves are maybe 50% full. So 3 million barrels. It's not really going to affect oil prices. This is great. I started playing around with Chat AI, GPT AI yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. I'll explain it later on. Doesn't have really pertain to the market, but it was definitely very good. Okay, so here are the PDD call sweeps that were hitting the tape all day yesterday. I mean, you're talking about, I'm seeing $8.2 million, which is a big bet. You've got Bill Ackerman from Pershing Square Capital reveals a new $1 billion bet on Google. So he's long Google. Now, here's the thing. I heard Einhorn is also very bullish Google and Amazon. And then there was an article that came out that said a survey of hedge fund managers, big money on Wall Street. Where are they currently positioned? What's the busiest trades that they're in? So they take a survey, they check off whatever trades that they're in, they combine them, and the data that's released, the most common trade is like 23% are strong, bullish, big tech. They're also short, I think it was like 19% banking stocks, and they're also 13% short the US dollar. So I don't care about the US dollar or banking stocks. There's some good ones, some bad ones, but I'm focusing on big tech. And we know this because they keep buying big tech. Yeah, David Einhorn also got into THC and GPN, Global Payments. Then we had, who was it? Warren Buffett released his complete holdings yesterday. What did he end the quarter? And if you saw, I believe it was after hours, Capital One Financial is a new position. So what happened? Capital One Financial spiked 7% after hours. That's COH. So some people that made money playing his play when it came to Oxy Petroleum, OXY, they might want to jump on this one. He reduced his stake in Activision Blizzard. He reduced his stake in Chevron. He added Occidental Petroleum, another 8.93%. He ordered HP. He added 15%. So I guess he's strong HP. McCarrickson, he reduced 19%. So, I mean, it's out there if you want to find it. It's interesting stuff. Some of you like to follow big money. He's more old money, okay? We talk about big money. He is old money. Old money means, man, he could outweight the market. He'll outweight everybody. I mean, he might die, but his positions will outweight the market. Okay, interesting. I mentioned SPY volume yesterday. What do we see here? 49 million. I think we finished right around 53 million. Okay. When we go back, where's my chart here? Here it is. Oh, I almost lost you guys. When we go back 2 weeks, right? Going back 2 weeks, Monday and Tuesday before the Fed announcement last Wednesday, we had volume on the SPY, two of the lowest 7 days out of the past 365 days of trading. Okay. What did we see yesterday? Another extremely low day, 54 million, which matches the numbers from last Monday and last Tuesday. So understand how much freaking money is on the sidelines. So what do I tell Discord? When there's low volume in the market, I say a couple of things. I say, number one, you're going to see huge moves. Now, we could trade a tight range. Yesterday, if you join me pre-market, I mentioned possibly 3.5, 4 points range, 414 on the top, 410 on the bottom, 409 on the bottom, 413 on top. Okay, we only traded about a 3-point range. We saw 410 on the bottom, 413 on top. So what did I tell you? We're trading a tight market range. It doesn't mean that we can't have like full 1-point swings. We could swing from 410 to 411 real quick. We could swing from 411 to 412 real quick. So what did I do? I think I got into calls once end of day. I got into SPY calls. I was in for literally 20 minutes. The SPY was $412.38. In fact, I think I made a posting. Let me just see if I can pull that up so y'all can see with me. Because there are so many times throughout the day that you can make money. You don't have to actively trade the entire day. Most traders in the entire day are not actively trading. They're watching their positioning. Okay, so here we go. So I had a guess. The SPY was trading at 412.39. It was actually 412.38 when I entered. It was towards the end of the day. Let me just see if we have a time on this. Around 3 p.m., okay? I thought we might see a push towards the end of the day, closer to 414. But I believed we'd still have that run to 413. 414 was like a stretch. I just thought the market was going to get bought up. Again, big money enters the market beginning of the day, end of the day. So what did I do? I got into $413 calls right here. The bottom was like 10 cents, $10 a contract. Did I pay $10 a contract? No, I paid $12 a contract. Now, the great news is I wasn't greedy. I did say it can go to 413, but I exited out at 412.78 on its way, looking like it was going to 413. What did I get? $20 a contract. Do the math. In for $12, out for $20, $8 profit per contract. I had a good number of contracts. That's a 40% gain. So again, you could be on the sidelines the entire day saying, no, there's no good entry. I don't know what I'm seeing. The market isn't clear to me. Now, if the market's crystal clear to you, you're like, okay, we're seeing a dip and then we're going to spike, or we're seeing a spike and then we're seeing a dip. If you have a clear, concise vision of what you're seeing in the market, then great. Go ahead and play it. If it's at 9:30, you've got that clear vision, perfect. 10, perfect. For me, sometimes it takes longer. And I happen to know, because I keep a trading journal, that I am sometimes early on my trades. So what do? I'll buy one contract. I'll wait 5 minutes. Same thing happens after I sell my contract. I sell a contract and then we get that spike up and I'm like, shit, just left 50% on the table. I secure 50% profit, but literally 5 minutes later, 50% on the table. Okay, so again, what are we trading lately? Is it a bull market, bear market? Any thoughts? Put them on the sidelines. Bull market, bear market? No, what it is a board market. Board market meaning we haven't broken out. We haven't broken down. We're trading a narrow range. When you trade a narrow range, I want all of you, in and out. In fact, I've got a challenge for everybody that's watching me this morning. Here's your challenge for today. Be green. That's it. I don't care if you're starting out the day red because you carried positions over and you were wrong how the market would open up this morning. But the challenge is be green for today. Instead of looking out and going, yeah, I need to make $10,000 this month, say to yourself, I'm going to make $400 today. Instead of making $1,000 for the month and you've got a small account and your account's sitting at $200, tell yourself, I'm going to make $20 today. I'm going to enter one trade. I'm going to be profitable. Because what happens if you enter a trade too soon and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to crush it. This is going to dip and then rip. And it dips and then it dips and it dips and it dips. Or it rips and you're like, it's going to rip and then dip down, come down, fade the entire day. And it rips and it goes higher, 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 higher. You know, I mean, there are so many days. Anyway, we'll skip that lesson. So what other news did I want to talk about this morning? Some good stuff happening. U.S. plans. I spoke about that. The Google bet. David Ihorn. Okay. Michael Blurry Holdings, right? What do we see? JD, Alibaba, Signet. Now, you know who likes Signet Jewelers? Jim Cramer. He's in a lot of banks. New York Community Bank. Zoom has a ton of support. Okay. I found that interesting. Next. See, this is my concern about recession, about the market, about every single person, including yourselves out there, because we're all feeling the same pain. Here you go. Total U.S. household debt rises by $148 billion in the first quarter of 2023. What does that mean? It means you're using credit cards, mortgage debt, auto loans. Here, I'll give you the breakdown. Okay, this is the first time in history that the U.S. household has crossed $17 trillion. Here's a breakdown of the larger categories. Mortgage debt is now $12 trillion, up $121 billion. Auto loans, $1.56 trillion, up $10 billion. Student loans, up $9 billion to $1.6. So there are as many student loans as there are auto loans there. So if the president decides he's going to forgive student loans, shouldn't they forgive all auto loans? I mean, it only makes sense to me. Credit card debt, unchanged at $1 trillion. $1 trillion, that's a lot of zeros. So debt levels continue to hit new records every quarter, despite the fastest rising interest rates in history. So what does that mean? As debt goes up, you're actually paying more on that debt. If interest rates were consistent and debt's going up, you're still paying more because debt is higher, okay? But now as it's going up, your payments now are more of it. Let's say it was like 80-20, 80 towards your main payment, 20 towards your debt. Now, since interest rates are going up, you're probably like 78 and 22 towards debt. Or maybe it's even worse if you have credit card debt. Okay. Next, here's what the stock market is doing. Now, I wrote this down yesterday. I didn't share it yesterday morning, but the stock market, because it's bullish, I'm telling you right now, they're buying the dips, okay? They're buying the dips. If they weren't buying the dips, if big money wasn't buying the dips, then we'd be at 400 already. We'd be at 380 already. I speak to some of my buddies on Wall Street, and they're like, yeah, if big tech wasn't bought, if Apple, NVIDIA, AMD, Amazon, Google, if they weren't being bought the way they have been in a crazy, crazy frenzy, that the market, the S&P would be 3,800, the SPY would be 380, something to that extent. So here it is. The market is screaming soft landing. However, if you look at the bond market, it's screaming recession is coming. Recession is coming. The inverse yield curves scream what? Recession. They've been inverse for what? Probably 2 years. Let's not forget, when interest rates go up, banks' credit tightening begins, meaning they're loaning less money out. Okay. Then you have the Fed doing their quantitative easing. Their balance sheet is still above $8 trillion. They want to get it under $4 trillion. So yeah, you get why I'm a bear. However, yesterday I did mention I was thinking 410 on the low side, 413 on the high side. What exactly did we see yesterday? 410 on the low side, 413 on the high side. I'm a bear. Okay, but we're not dropping. We're not dropping to that 404. When we drop to 404 on the SPY and 4050 on the S&P 500, you saw mega support. So right there's mega support, 404, 408. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Worst case scenario, 408, find some bounce. We found a bounce at 409 2 days ago. We bounced yesterday at 410. So the bounces are happening at higher. What else? Muddy Waters. Oh, shit. I meant to check them on Twitter. They were dropping a new short report this morning. So maybe we should do that together. Again, I'll check Muddy Waters in 1 second on Twitter. Okay, yeah, I saw a bit of a rotation yesterday. I went into some U.S. Steel, Newmont Mining Corp, and some Cleveland Cliffs. These are material plays. They're pretty beaten up. Steel's pretty beaten up. I'm not promising you instant gratification, meaning today they're going to rip 5% higher. But I'm telling you, give yourself 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. I'm looking for a 14 to 18% gain in those. Again, my investments only. Kashari, Fed Kashari. Okay, here we go. Fed futures currently imply a 12% chance of a 25 basis point hike June 14th meeting. Again, I'm not really seeing a basis point hike, but the Atlanta Fed, Raphael Bostic, retweeted something CNBC wrote, which I found very interesting. They won't be cutting rates into 2024. He said, my baseline case is we won't even be thinking about cutting rates. So he said that. CNBC reported it, and then Bostic was so short of his comments that he retweeted what CNBC reported. So he's like, guys, if you didn't hear me, I'm telling you, no rate cuts this year. No rate cuts this year. Who told you that? Me. I actually think there will be a rate cut. I think it'll be October, November. I think we'll have 2. I don't think we'll have 3 like the market thinks. I don't think in June we're going to have a rate hike, so I agree with the market right now. Again, I'm a bear, but I can be somewhat a little bullish. Still watching debt ceiling, still waiting on Walmart and Target earnings. So let me just see what's going on here. Let's just add that to my watch list. Didn't think that. Okay. So let's see if Muddy Waters actually dropped their short report this morning. Because if they did, we can talk about how we can possibly play that drop. Nope, they still haven't dropped anything yet. All right, so let's go to Discord. Back, let's see how I start out every day. Well, I don't start out every day with my own channel. That would be somewhat egotistical. So where would I go? Well, I want to see what the market is doing. You know, I started out here and I saw, okay, we saw a little bearish turn yesterday. Now, when I looked at the flows and algos, what did I tell everybody? I told everybody that I like to wait until at least 10 a.m., give the market half an hour to be bought and sold to see that craziness. Let the market play out, and then I'll check at 10 o'clock. I'll check at 10:30 a.m., and then I'll see where the net flows are. Okay, but I like to look at this going into today. What else did I look at? Net flows versus premiums for the SPY. Okay, we got extremely bullish yesterday right before that massive spike. So if you're on Discord or you're on a platform that lets you see net premiums, let's just say that I happen to log on right here and I saw this spike, okay, whatever time that was. And I'm like, holy shit, spike. I know the market is about to spike. So the market's sitting at 411.55, okay? And then you say, okay, I'm going to buy calls. Boom, 413.43 was the top. Now, anybody on my Discord, again, if you heard my video yesterday when the SPY was spiking from 411, shit, I'll bring it up, man. I can't make this shit up. It's too freaking accurate. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to my room yesterday. Here's my room. What did I say yesterday? Bum, bum, bum. Okay, yesterday, talking about the dark pool levels. The Qs should find support. If they didn't, 322.86. We never made it down, so we ended in no man's land. Put the same thing. Now, as the market's going up from 411.55, which I predicted it would, I said, hey, where would the top be? First, it's got to break 412. I predicted the top in this video right here would be around $413.40. Keep in mind, the SPY was sitting at 411, like 70 at the time. And I said, okay, even if we drop a little, 413.40 was what I was looking for. So where did the SPY hit the top level yesterday? Holy shit, 413.43 right here. So the fact that I put in 413.40, if you were not in a position, you could get puts right here. Write it down a little because I mentioned there'd be somewhat consolidation. Me, I was in some calls. What did I do? I secured profit. Now, we're trading in a 5-day range. What does this look like? A trading range. Single day. Spike in the morning, dip midday, spike end of day. What happened? Spike in the morning, increased. Another spike, increased. What did we see yesterday? 2 days ago, right? Morning, dip, dip, dip. Bottomed out, 409. Huge spike, back to 412 and change. Dropped off. Where do we see? Gap up again. So all these gap ups and gap downs, whatever. Even if we gap down, let's say to here, 410. Where are we going to end up later today? 412. We're going to range trade. Let's say we spike up to 413. What's likely to happen? They're likely to sell the market, and we're likely to go back to 410. So we've been range trading for 5 straight days. So when someone says to me, dude, what are you thinking about today? What's the take today, man? SPY to the moon. SPY's falling out of the sky. Things are going to get bloody. No, if I had to make a guess, what would I say? I'd say freaking history repeats itself Maybe we see 410 on the downside. Let's say it gets worse than that. Worse than that, I'm looking at 409.50. That's it. That's my downside level. If we drop, I will be buying calls. Again, I have to find support on the 1 minute and the 3 minute, but it makes sense to me. I look at the volume. Now, that's one scenario. Second scenario, let's see. We closed 2 days ago at 412.75. We closed one trading day ago at what? 411 and change. We're sitting at 411.85 pre-market. Where could we dip down to? Well, I'm actually thinking we go right under 411, maybe to like 410, maybe a little lower, maybe 410.55. So here's your bull case scenario, okay? Bull case scenario is market starts off today. We dip within the first hour, 410.55. You see support where you don't rebound right away. You see a double bottom, possibly a triple bottom. Triple bottom means like, okay, we dip down. Looks like a W, start to recover, dip down, and then recover. That's your W. That is your bull case scenario. Bull case scenario is, yes, we're dipping and giving you a chance to enter. So we're going to 410.55, maybe 410.80, something like that. If that is the case, and we see the bottom end, let's just say at 410.50, okay? 410.50. I'm going to say 3.5 points higher. It'll be the top. So if we bottom at 410.50, I'm looking for the SPY to run to 413.55, 414, okay? We saw it a bunch of times last week. Now, I'll give you the bear case. Again, that's your bull case. Bull case is we're dipping first and going to 410, 409.80, 410.55, something like that, and then we're spike up. Again, if we go 409.50, and I say 4 points, we go 409.50, then we're going to 413.50, which is exactly what you saw yesterday. Again, if you look at yesterday's chart, that's exactly what we're seeing. Again, it's a 5-day, but we dipped right here. So we went right to 410.23, but the day before we went to 409, then we went right back up. So again, range trading, when we dip, that just means big money's taking advantage and they're going into some stocks and some plays that they want to go into. I'm going to bring up my watch list real quick. And then we'll go from there. I know I had Discord up before. Actually, screw the watch list right now. You guys want to make money, so let's talk about the market direction. So I'm going to go, again, I'm going to leave my room, and I'm going to go back to any of these. Now we have lessons, but I can look at option sweeps. I look at golden sweeps. See what they were buying off the table to end the day. All right, Exxon, right? Put golden sweep. Expiration January, so they're giving themselves a lot of time. NVIDIA, 9:15, giving themselves a lot of time. I'm looking to see if I can find anything for like a June expiration. Okay, here's a July. Don't know the stock, so I'll pass on that. Visa, I've heard people are strong Visa. That's dating back to 512. So I can't really find. Let me see the option sweeps, see how we ended the day on option sweeps. Again, large call order, AMD. What else do we have? Right above it. Banking stock, WAL, again, up. Affirm. They were buying put sweeps, so they thought Affirm was going down off that run. If you saw Upstart, it had a pretty big run. CSIQ, Canadian Solar. So again, this just gives me a little insight as to what big money's playing. You saw those were 3 p.m. and after, so they're pretty recent. Top bullish and bearish flows. All right, I'll take this one out. First Solar, we know went up like 50 points the other day. The Russell, which is pretty beaten up. Large positions, probably a hedge right here. So I'll look at the UPS. Micron spiked yesterday, so I'm actually going to look at UPS. I'm not going against Disney, so I'll look at UPS on the negative side. On the positive side, what do I see? Number one, Meta. And I saw them pushing Meta even up pre-market this morning when Meta was down. Let's look at Meta real quick. I've got it right. Where is it? Meta. There it is. Okay, it's down 0.28%. But what did I see pre-market? I think it was just about 8:15 a.m. I saw some 2 large block buys. For pre-market, anything you're over 5,000 shares is pretty substantial. And that was around the 238.50 area. And again, we're sitting at 238.20 here. So it tells me that Meta has a little support. Let me just see what else we got going on here. Okay. So let's get to some questions and then we will head over to Discord. So let's go to questions, comments. Where are we? Here we go. Good morning, dude. What's up? Have a quick sip. What's up, Flippy? I always see you on Webull. I'm glad you joined Discord again. Please, everybody understand, joining our Discord, here are the biggest benefits to joining the SOC family, okay? It's not me. I give updates 3 or 4 times a day. I show you exactly what I'm thinking. If you like the way my mind works, then yeah, you're going to be like, it's a no-brainer, man. But what else? We've got trading chats. We've got all those unusual and options, alerts, golden sweeps. We have a learning center where there are lessons, videos that you can actually watch provided by our members that we're teaching lessons on our Discord. So unlike other Discords, man, if people are giving out alerts, hey, this one popped 50%, this one popped 40%, congratulations. That's not going to last you forever. If you want to be a good trader and you're here and you're putting in the time watching YouTube, then that tells me you already have the ambition to improve your trading if you want to. So then we have the trading chat room. We have the public chat room. We have option plays, member alerts. We have Romeo's live stream. We have all the flows and algorithms that people pay hundreds of dollars a month. So when we charge $35 for an all-encompassing thing, what do? I would join Discord. The first thing I'm going to do when I join Discord is not to go to these rooms. I'm going to go to the how-to room. The how-to room, because I want to know how to use the same shit that Big Money's using. How-to. Please visit for a detailed overview of all commands. Great. What are the biggest commands? Big flow symbol shows you the 10 largest option flow orders for the day. How could that help me, Matt? Well, the 10 largest option orders for any given day, it's likely Big Money knows exactly what they're doing. So there are so many commands that I find helpful. Hey, guys, good morning. Good morning again. Hey, what's up, Dusty? Good morning, Matt. Thanks for giving us every time. Yeah, so I'm here every morning. If you like what I do, please thumbs up. YouTube's algorithms. Make a comment. You want to ask about a stock? You want to share your position and have some feedback from myself or from other members? Great. Do it. That's going to make you a better trader. For instance, red or green bank here. Walmart, right? 149, 526 puts. I feel good about this one. I'm hoping you could assure me with your pro. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely not a pro. Again, I give my thoughts. Lowe's and Home Depot, I'm following, right? So let's see where Walmart is. And again, I would probably find the biggest flow for Walmart and see what they're doing. Walmart's a little off this morning. Yeah, yesterday they were selling it off pretty substantially. Coming back to the dividend price, it's been pretty strong. I mean, Walmart's been on quite a run. It kind of probably looks like McDonald's. Walmart, McDonald's. So I'd be cautious. I don't understand Walmart. I mean, I don't follow it. I understand it. So what would I do? I'd have to go back to Discord. And since you asked the question, I mean, we might as well look at the flow sum. Oh, another thing from yesterday is 56% of the options bought yesterday were put or negative bearish comments, leaving 44% to be bullish. So that was the breakdown from yesterday. But let's just see what we got here. TR. Let's look at the net flow for WMT. Then we'll look at the algo flow for WMT. Okay, so what am I noticing? Net flow. Here we go. Okay, calls are still way above. Premiums for calls are still way above, which would tell me it's bullish. It's been that way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. So we're going back to probably like yesterday morning. Before that, there was very little activity. But the activity I see seems bullish. Again, I don't know. This looks – I would have to be following this stock more like family to say, yes, your position is good, or no, it's not. If I had 100% or even an inkling or a heavily weighted one way or the other, I would definitely share. Retail sales came in half of expectations. Yeah, no doubt. The same way I told everybody in December that they were going to continue to use their credit card bills, which are already outstanding and credit card debt was out there. But I explained that, let's say you have a $5,000 credit card bill and it's December and you want to buy Christmas gifts. Do you really care if you go over your balance and now it's $8,000? If you couldn't pay it in January, you couldn't pay $5,000, you're not going to be able to pay $8,000. So again, that's why retail sales held on as long as they did. Oh, the consumer is strong. Yes, I'm not really sure about that. Hey, Matt, how is Tesla dark pool looking? I don't know. Let's look at it together. That's a great question. So Discord, here we go. I'll look at the dark pool level. So what would I do for Tesla first? I'm going to look at the net flow for Tesla. I'm just going to get an idea of what I want to look at. Then I'll take out the dark pool levels for Tesla. All right, so what am I seeing on Tesla? Well, let's look at yesterday's net premiums. Okay, so we know Tesla spiked yesterday morning, then dipped. There was no real activity. As you see, it's spiking and dipping. The costs or the premiums paid for calls and puts are still relatively in line. Then what did you see? Cost for puts spiked, where the cost for calls were going down. What happened? The stock went down. So it's like a cheat sheet. Holy shit, my costs for puts are going up. Tesla is going to drop. Then what do you see? Okay, puts all of a sudden dropped. When you see that drop right here, okay, which is probably around 10:20 in the morning, maybe 10:30 in the morning, I would say, okay, Tesla calls, get long Tesla. Boom, price goes up, price goes up, price goes up. When you're up here, what are you going to do? You're going to take profit. Now, let's say you didn't take profit yet. Let's say you didn't. You ride it back down here. You're like, oh, shit, it's going to go down. What the hell do I do? When I write it down like this, I say I'm getting out on the next pop. So now, oh shit, it's going lower. I'm still holding because I got diamond hands. Finally get a pop. I'm like, okay, let me get the hell out. It's not 168, but it is 167. And 167 is better than 166 and losing additional time. So that's what I see with Tesla chart. Again, I would look at Tesla going in. How do we end the days? Calls strong, puts back to zero net premiums. Okay. So it's telling me puts didn't give up. They kind of increased right here, probably 30 minutes, end of day. Maybe they're expecting a spike down this morning. Let's look at dark pool levels. So when I pull up Tesla first, let's see where Tesla's pre-market. Tesla, 166. Okay, it's relatively flat. It's up 20 cents pre-market, 16 cents. Okay, 166.53. So what do? Well, I say to myself, okay, this is a ghost zone right here, 165.83. So if Tesla is going to drop today, where might it find its first support? Okay, I want to get into Tesla calls. Let's say I'm looking for it to drop to 163.28, find support. 160.72, find support. If it comes here and it drops and finds support, probably at this level, 163.28, I can get bullish. I would get bullish from 163.28 all the way to 168.39. Why? Because there's a huge dark pool level, the largest here. So 168.39, when I look at Tesla's numbers for yesterday, 169.76. So it never made the next zone, which tells me plus or minus on this zone, it was rejecting. I actually kind of still like Tesla. Let me show you what I'm looking at when it comes to Tesla. Let's just get this up here. All right, I just looking at the 5-day chart right here, and I'm looking at not necessarily the chart looks pretty bad, but I'm looking at where support is. So I'm going to say, okay, well, they found support at 165, 164 and a half. Previous days last week, I don't even see it touching that number. So I could say, okay, that could be bearish, or I could say, okay, it's kind of stabilizing even with larger outflow. So once the buying picks up, you're going to see 176 right away or something like that. Amazon levels, please. Okay, well, look at the Amazon levels. Here's the thing. I mentioned Einhorn bought some Amazon. He bought some Google. I know big money on Wall Street is definitely bullish. Big tech, they haven't exited out of their positions yet. I thought about buying Amazon at 109, like, what was it, 35 yesterday? And then it spiked right after I thought about buying my position. And of course, I don't chase. Yeah, 111.20. Oh my God. Yesterday would have been so great. Where was it? Well, 109.25. Yeah, so I saw it at 109.35. And I was like, I should buy some Amazon. And it would have been great. You could have got out right away. You didn't even have to stay in it very long. All right, so I'm going to look at the 1-month chart of Amazon. What am I seeing? Now, I'm seeing something similar to Google. And we'll look at the dark pool levels, but I just want to show you guys this first. Amazon. Okay, what do I see? 2, 4, 7 out of the last 8 days inflow. We were sitting at 102 where it found support. Now we're closing in on, what are we, probably 110 pre-market, closed at 111. I mentioned yesterday that if we ran here, I could see Amazon popping to like 117, 118. But again, you'd have to find the cues over 330. So we're only 1-2% away from there, where we'd still be about, 7% away from what I'm looking at Amazon as a top side. Let's see what we got. Hey, good morning, Matt. May I know the Meta support price to take a few 235 put expiring this week? Okay, I will get to your question first. Let's look at the Amazon dark pool level, which I promised. Let's see, I don't die here first. TR, BP levels, Amazon. We'll do that. And then I'll make the comment about the Meta put that you're looking at, because we do have some people here. Okay, so what am I looking at? Dark pool level up here. It doesn't exist. That's why I told you if Amazon breaks that 113 number right here, boom, sky's the limit. 113, you're going to see it shoot up to 116, 117, 118 real quick. So that's why I see, and I'm not the only one that sees this. Institutions, big money, they see the same shit. They're like, oh, push Amazon from a certain level. We're just going to go above shelf volume and it'll shoot up. But what would I look at to reject? 112, 113, here you go. 110.83, here you go. That could act as support. If it doesn't, we could drop all the way down to 108.69. And then you're talking about numbers that, of course, are going to be huge support levels because we're already points away from there. So let's get back to the next question, because I found that a very good question right here. Good morning, Matt. May I know the Meta support price to take a few 235 strike puts expiring this week? Okay, so first off, let's just talk about Meta real quick. Meta is at what? 238 this morning. Let's just look at Meta. I thought Meta was pushing 240. So you're looking to go in the opposite direction. Yeah, I mean, here's what I'm looking at Meta. Big spike off earnings, then you see some consolidation. Once you consolidate after a big spike, it tends to go up even surely and slowly. And that's what you're seeing. That's the 3-month chart. Let's look at the 1-month chart. Okay, same thing. Big spike off earnings, consolidating back to what the 232 level it was, right? Yesterday or 2 days ago. 232 was bought yesterday all the way up to a high of 240. 235 was the low point. Yeah, I mean, for you to take meta puts this week, you've got to say to yourself, for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you've got to say to yourself, 3 out of the last 4 days this week, 3 out of 4 are going to be down days for big tech. Now, I just told you before, big money on Wall Street, 23% of hedge fund managers are in. Their biggest trade is big tech. So you have to say to yourself, okay, they're going to sell this week, and that's why Meta's going to go down. Now, if Meta goes down, where could Meta drop to? Sure, it's gonna fill the gap from when it spiked off earnings, and we're looking for before that. You're talking about 222, so anywhere from 222 all the way to 232. And that would be your dip. I mean, when I zoom in Meta the last couple of days, what the hell am I seeing? I'm saying to myself, I'm not going to take a bearish position against this. There's so many other companies that I could take a bearish position against instead of an industry leader like Meta. Oh, you guys hear that? I think my time's running out. All right, I'm headed over to Discord. Everybody's welcome to join me. Thanks for the music. Thanks for joining me. If you like what I said, thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Stay safe. All right? In and out of trade, secure profit, and stay green today. That's what your challenge is. If you stay green, join me tomorrow morning and